Hello everyone, Dr. Suneel Dhand, medical doctor. The world has never seen anything like what is about to hit us with the metabolic health catastrophe. Catastrophe is not even a strong enough word. And I'm going to keep on talking about this issue because what's going on right now is unprecedented, especially in children. It is such a tragedy in countries like the United States, United Kingdom, other Western countries, all following the same path. And RFK Jr. is rightly focusing on this, and he's talking about this disaster in children. And you would think that the mainstream media and the medical establishment, well, they would be on board with addressing such an important topic, but absolutely not. Now, I will say that RFK Jr., I think a lot of what he's focusing on is spot on. But I don't agree with absolutely everything he says. Of course, you will never get two professionals who agree on absolutely everything. In fact, I would be worried if they agreed on all topics. However, the gist of what RFK Jr. is doing is fantastic, and the country sorely needs this. And I'm going to share with you here something that RFK Jr. just said about the health of children in the United States, and then I will share with you the mainstream media reaction. Take a listen to this.
And I know what a healthy child is supposed to look like. I'm looking at kids as I walk through the airports today, as I walk down the street, and I see these kids that are just overburdened with mitochondrial challenges, with inflammation. You can tell from their faces, from their body movements, and from their lack of social connection. And I know that that's not how our children are supposed to look.
So did you get that there? RFK Jr. is really spot on with the unprecedented health catastrophe tragedy going on with children right now. And it doesn't take an Einstein to get out there and look around you at airports, in malls, any other public spaces. I mean, what is going on with children? Soaring, unprecedented rates of obesity, unthinkable even a couple of decades ago, a huge cultural shift. We have soaring rates of type 2 diabetes. I mean, we have an almost 50% pre-diabetes rate in adolescence. What on earth is going on? And add to this all the coexisting inflammation, because remember, excess body fat equals inflammation, and there's a direct link with poor mental health. And other factors come into it as well, like social media, screen time, lack of exercise. But make no mistake, the most important point here is that tens of millions of children are so utterly out of shape. And RFK Jr. is spot on, but take a listen to what the mainstream media had to say, because they are outraged at RFK's statement. So here we have one article in the Daily Beast. RFK Jr. shares deeply weird way he knows kids are unhealthy. Yes, of course, it's very weird indeed to use your own eyes and look around and use your own common sense to tell you something is wrong. According to the mainstream media, that is very weird indeed. Then we have another article here in a business publication. RFK Jr. claims he can tell if children are unhealthy just by looking. Well, yes, of course. Anybody with an ounce of common sense can look at another human being and kind of get the gist whether they look healthy or unhealthy. In fact, I heard it once said that it is actually inbuilt in all human beings, that the very first thing at a subconscious level when we look at another human being, we assess, are they male or female? And then secondly, do they look unhealthy or healthy? It is something that is inbuilt in us to detect health or a lack of health. And it makes sense from an evolutionary standpoint that would be the case. And here we have another one, I'm sad to say, from a British publication. RFK Jr., who doesn't have a medical degree, says he can diagnose children just by looking at them. So there you go. That is just a selection of a few headlines from the mainstream media who are absolutely outraged with RFK Jr. And this is your regular reminder, as if you don't already have enough reminders, that you really can't hate on the mainstream media enough when you look at some of the things that they come out with, which very obviously are following other agendas. They're extremely political. They're not thinking, hold on a minute, RFK Jr. is actually addressing a very important topic that is going to have catastrophic consequences. Let's think about what he's talking about. No, they're making fun of him, dismissing what he wants to talk about entirely. It's an absolute disgrace. And then over the next 24 hours, we had a whole host of doctors online, some well-known, all establishment physicians, who expressed their absolute outrage at what RFK Jr. said about children being unhealthy. Many of them focused on what he talked about regarding mitochondrial health, which, for anyone who knows about metabolic health was a perfectly valid statement, but these doctors all deliberately misrepresented his statement instead of acknowledging the fact that he was rightly focusing on the poor state of children's health in America. These are just a selection of the despicable comments. And can I tell you what's even more disgraceful? As a doctor who regularly reads medical publications, I can tell you that there is a widespread feeling in the medical establishment that RFK Jr. shouldn't be there. The Make America Healthy Again movement is a complete scam. They don't want people talking about true health and well-being. And it's very obvious why. If we look at the nature of the profit-driven medical industrial complex, this very obviously threatens their bottom line. The medical industrial complex, which actually frequently sponsors the mainstream media. So there is a direct money trail. And RFK Jr. himself has said, very sadly, this goes for the United States, but could equally apply to many other countries as well. There's nothing more profitable than a sick child, whether it is physical health or mental health. This is an absolutely disgusting part of our modern day culture. But thank goodness that RFK Jr. is there. Again, I will say I don't agree with absolutely everything he says, but this is something that we need to focus on. If you love this country, as I do, if you love the United States and you want it to succeed, you cannot have tens of millions of young people falling into unhealthy habits, not having the right role models around them, not knowing what to do, and not thinking that their health should be a number one priority. And I hope these are the first steps to getting the country back on track. Okay, everybody, thank you for watching. Feel free to leave a comment down below. I enjoy hearing from all of you. Check the links in the description down below for my website, all the other work I do, my health program. And if you're not already signed up for my free newsletter, why not? Link down below in the description. Also, our natural health and well-being store, ohiwellness.com if you're in the USA, North America, ohiwellness.co if you're in the UK, Europe. If you enjoyed this video, you'll also enjoy some of my other videos on optimizing metabolic health and our current metabolic health disaster. But let's stay optimistic. It's never too late. The United States, many times throughout history, has proved people wrong. Let's hope that we can get the health of this country back on track. Hit the like button if you like this video, the subscribe button for more similar videos in the future, and we will speak again very soon.